Badr, let me bring you in at this point. Your corporate venture platform, CE Ventures, has invested something like over $500 million, as I understand it, in tech startups and scale-ups over the past 5 years, including in green tech. What have you been focused on?
At the outset, as you've alluded to already, Becky, it's important to recognize again that our climate and nature goals are doomed without technology, right? Both adaptation and mitigation outcomes will be massively challenged if we don't scale existing green tech, but also invest a lot more in new tech that can accelerate our pathway to net zero. And this includes everything from carbon capture, low carbon energy, ag tech, agriculture tech, green mobility, water conservation, and lots of other related technologies. And I also think that it's safe to say that the technologies that are likely to provide that black swan moment for climate haven't even been identified yet, which is why it's critically important that we develop these mechanisms to channel much more risk capital to the world's most promising green tech solutions, and of course, fast. It's also important to acknowledge that both the impacts of climate change and the money going towards addressing these impacts are not uniformly distributed across the globe. Developing countries have a much lower emissions impact, but are bearing the brunt of climate change. I think a recent report from the UN Trade and Development Body showed that in the past 3 years, developed nations saw the value of green tech grow 160% versus only 30% in developing regions. Now, we know that those closest to the problems are closest to the solutions. So again, to close that gap, and as we, I think, collectively venture into the green transition, we must ensure that these investments and financing mechanisms are accessible, affordable, and also equitable in their construct. Now, zooming in on our region, the Middle East and North Africa, the report that Crescent Enterprises recently commissioned revealed that we've seen an 11-fold increase in venture funding towards green tech over the past 5 years, with I think over 140 new green tech startups launched and a total of $680 million towards venture funding. But the data also revealed that climate tech also represents less than 5% of venture funding in the region, which of course is significantly less than the global average of close to 20%. So this represents an opportunity, and my belief is that the more we can debunk the myth that the greener something is, the less profitable it is, the more capital we're going to see flow into this space. Perhaps not surprisingly, the UAE has led the regional focus on the climate tech sector. I think accounts for over 60% of total venture funding. Crescent Enterprises, we're proud to be one of the leading investors in the MENA climate space, funding numerous startups and also creating a number of our own startups within the green tech space. And now I think with 2 successive COP28s held within the region and other big initiatives like Saudi's Middle East Green Initiative, my expectation is that we're going to see this growing exponentially in the years to come.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Yeah, that's